Alright everybody, welcome back, in which it's now time for me to once again put my knowledge to the test on Jeopardy for the Super NES. Super Nintendo, yep. Yeah, we're good. See how I do. We have my opponents facing me, and let's play the Jeopardy round. We're going to deal with these as our 6 categories. The 1970s, science, fashion, King's English, resorts, and finally, transportation. Okay, I think I'll start things off with fashion for 100.
The answer is...
This New York-based national department store abbreviates its name as SFA. What is Saks Fifth Avenue? A place I've never been to before, but I've heard about it.
Passed by Saks Fifth Avenue last time I was in New York.
Let's go with fashion for 200.
The answer is...
Term for someone who makes men's chapeau, whether he's mad or not. What's a hatter? I'll take fashion for 300.
The answer is...
The Marciano brothers founded the company that makes this questionable fashion label. What is Guess? Fashion for 400. Daily double. I'll do the whole 600. Of 5, 7, or 9, the number that precedes the name West on the popular shoe brand, what's 9? Fashion for 500.
The answer is...
In 1988, the fashion industry lost billions on this style shunned by professional women. What's a miniskirt? And not featuring Minnie Mouse either. Okay. King's English 100.
The answer is...
The additional letter in the British spelling of honor and collar. What is U? Let's take King's English for 200.
The answer is...
What WC literally stands for? What's water closet? Oh. King's English for 300.
The answer is...
What a minder is... Afraid I don't know this one. Jenny. It's a bodyguard. Oh, okay. Jenny gets her first bit of cash and makes the next selection, which is resorts for 100.
The answer is...
Since 1942, U.S. presidents have had private access to this resort. What is Camp David? Yep. Resorts 200.
The answer is...
This worldwide French resort chain also owns a cruise ship. Oh, what is it called? I used to know this one. Let's see if Jim knows this. Oh, it's Club Med. That's right. Couldn't remember off the top of my head, but now I do remember. But anyways, we're going to go with King's English 400.
The answer is...
An American family goes on vacation while a British family goes on this.
What's holiday?
Holiday, yep, thank you. What is holiday? I'll take King's English for 500.
The answer is...
If you get into a tube, you're not mailing yourself. You're in one of these. Jim. You're in a subway. A subway. Jim takes second place for now, but we go to the next clue, which is science for 100.
The answer is...
A sound's repetition by reflection. What's an echo? Science 200.
The answer is...
He originated the origin of species. Who's Charles Darwin? Charles Darwin, yeah.
Yes.
Yes!
Yes.
Could I have science for 300?
The answer is
Singular form of the word bacteria. What is bacterium? Science 400.
the answer is
Negative particle that orbits an atom's nucleus. What is a neutron? No. What is an electron?
Electron.
Yes. Protons, neutrons, electrons. Science 500.
the answer is
Cytology is the study of these biological building blocks. Oh, Jenny, you locked me out.
No.
And she got it. It's cells. Cytology is the study of cells. Moving on. Resorts for 300.
the answer is
Furnace Creek is the appropriate name for the California resort located here. What is Death Valley?
You're get pretty hot in Death Valley.
Yep, considering that it's not too far from Arizona. Resorts
the
400.
answer is
Honeymooners are partial to these picturesque Pennsylvania mountains featuring over 300 resorts. What are the Poconos? Resorts 500.
the answer is
Camp David, the presidential retreat, was named for this grandson of a president, who is Dwight Eisenhower. Dwight David Eisenhower. Alright, let's take the 1970s for 100.
the answer is
After he died January 13th, 1978, his widow Muriel was appointed to fill out his Senate term. Jim. Hubert Humphrey. Hubert Humphrey. He and Jenny are tied right now at $800 each. The 1970s 200.
the answer is
He escaped 2 assassination attempts in September 1975. Gerald Ford. Gerald Ford.
I would have said Nixon.
Right. 70s 300.
the answer is
On November 16th, 1973, President Nixon signed the bill authorizing construction of this 789-mile-long project.
I think it's the Manhattan Project.
No, it's the Alaska Pipeline.
Oh, the Alaska Pipeline.
Alaska Pipeline, yes.
The Manhattan Project, I think, was someone else.
Yeah. 70s 400.
the answer is
In 1975, NASA launched Viking 1 and 2, and in 1977 launched 2 space probes with this name. Jenny. Voyager. Voyager. Alright. Transportation 100.
the answer is
Since the 20s, a Henry has been a slang term for a car from this company. What is Ford? Transportation 200.
the answer is
On July 21st, 1959, the first cargo ship powered by this was launched at Camden, New Jersey. Jenny. Powered by nuclear power. The 1970s for 500.
the answer is
In 1976, President Ford awarded this piano virtuoso the Medal of Freedom, the highest U.S. civilian honor. I have a hunch on who it could be, but I'm going to let Jim have this one. Arthur Rubinstein. Okay, so my hunch was wrong. I was thinking Liberace. But it's Arthur Rubinstein. 300, transportation.
the answer is
Vehicle to which a harness horsing race is hitched. A harness racing horse is hitched. Yeah. Oh, is it a sulky? It's a sulky. Oh, yeah. 400.
The answer is
It can run a thread back and forth through a loom or people back and forth from the hotel to the airport. Jenny. It's a shuttle. Now the last clip.
the answer is
Some say this man's name came from the Irish cops using it. Others say from the Irishman locked inside. Jim. It's a paddy wagon. So at the end of the Jeopardy round, Jim has 2,300. I lead with 4,800. Jenny has 2,100. And come to think of it, nobody got any questions wrong that round.
I don't see that happen too often.
No, you don't. Let's see if we can keep it going in double Jeopardy.
here are the categories.
And we have these as our 6 categories to deal with. Toys and games, actors and roles, first lines, Revolutionary War, bicycle parts, and finally, fish. Alright. I like these categories. Let's go. Jenny starts with Revolutionary War for 200.
The answer is
Baron von Steuben trained the men at this Pennsylvania camp during the winter of 1777-1778. What is Valley Forge? I'll take Revolutionary War for 400.
the answer is
On June 16, 1775, Americans began to dig into this hill next to Bunker Hill. Jenny? Breeds Hill. Breeds Hill. Jenny gets that one right, takes second place. Actors and roles 200.
the answer is
This star of Matt Houston has found paradise. Oh, Jim locked me out. No, it's Lee Horsley. Good thing I didn't get in that one. I was thinking Don Johnson for some reason, but Jim and Jenny are tied at 2,500 each. They have half of what I have. Actors and roles
the
400.
answer is
In this 1976 flick, Laurence Olivier drilled Dustin Hoffman for information. What is Marathon Man? Actors and roles 600.
the answer is
This inanimate object had a starring role in The Gods Must Be Crazy. What is a Coke bottle? Actors and roles 800.
the answer is
In 1985, he got lost in America with Julie Haggerty. Jim. Albert Brooks. Revolutionary War 600.
the answer is
Before we had the Daughters of the Revolution, we had the Sons of This, who fought the Stamp Act. Jim? We had the Sons of Liberty. Oh yeah, that's right.
Sons of Liberty.
Yes. Toys and games, 200.
the answer is
Number of pockets on a pool table.
6.
What is 6? I'll take toys and games for 400.
the answer is
Caller that always has the opening move in chess. What is white?
Either that or black.
It's white. Yep.
Oh, well,
Toys and games for 600.
the answer is
Versions of this board game take place in London, Madrid, and Atlantic City. What is Monopoly?
Yep.
Toys and games, 800. Daily double, one of the two. I'll do all 7,200. Benny and Smith makes this brand of crayons in 64 colors. What are Crayolas?
That takes me back.
Yeah, same with me. Toys and Games 1000.
The answer is
She's been a teenage fashion model for over 25 years. Who is Barbie?
Barbie, yeah. Ugh.
You're telling me. Let's go back to actors and roles for 1000.
the answer is
David Bowie seemed at home portraying an alien in this 1976 film. Jenny. The Man Who Fell to Earth. She's up to $3,500. And where are we going now, Jenny? Revolutionary War, 800.
the answer is
He was aide-de-camp and secretary to General Washington, who later made him a cabinet secretary. Jenny.
Oh, I think Marty's back.
Alexander Hamilton. Right. Fish for 200.
the answer is
Type of carp which might feel at home at Fort Knox. What's a goldfish? I'll take fish for 400.
the answer is
Some of these members of the mackerel family are skipjack and some are albacore. What's tuna?
Tuna, yep.
Take fish for 600.
the answer is
They come in white, blue, and hammerhead.
Sharks.
Or sharks. Yep. Oh, frick. There we go. Fish 800.
Whoops.
the answer is
Ew. Angorlus mordox, a fishy pizza topping. What's an... Oh, Jim, you locked me out. And Mark, where are your manners?
Oliver Katy Perry.
Hey! And it's an anchovy. Daniel!
What's up,
George Rogers Clark helped the U.S. gain this territory, which included present-day Michigan and Ohio. Well, we're doing some more of your birthday special, Daniel.
Yay. Nice.
Yep, it's the Northwest Territory. Right now we're playing Jeopardy for the SNES, and I have the lead with $16,600. First line's 200.
the answer is
Once upon a time, there were 4 little rabbits, and their names were Flopsy, Mopsy, Cottontail, and Peter. What's Peter Rabbit?
I think Peter Rabbit was a troublemaker.
Oh yeah, he was. First line's 400. The other Daily Double. Think I'll do it again. It looked extremely rocky for the Mudville 9 that day. What is Casey at the bat?
And Dana, you know what this messing with you.
First line's for 600.
the answer is
Isaac Dennison began his book with I Had a Farm in America at the foot of the Ngong Hills. What is out of Africa? Oh, frick. There we go. I'll take first lines for 800.
the answer is
Those who wish to win favor with the prince offer him those things with which they hold most precious. Jenny. It's the prince. Oh yeah, the prince. That sounded kind of obvious to me, but it's alright. Bicycle parts, 200.
the answer is
Steal the body of a bike, but make it look like someone else did it. What's frame?
Like Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Exactly. Bicycle parts, 400.
the answer is
With this type of brake, you won't leave rings. What is a coaster? Bicycle parts for 600.
the answer is
You can get a good grip on this mustache, but don't do it in public. What's a handlebar? Bicycle parts for 800.
The answer is
Just the extremity to get the bike going. What is pedal? Bicycle parts for 1,000.
the answer is
Said something about the wheel. What is spoke? I'll take fish for 1,000.
the answer is
Deep sea game fish or Perkins of Wild Kingdom. What's a marlin? Now the last clue.
the answer is
Howard Rourke laughed. Jenny. It's the fountainhead. So at the end of Double Jeopardy, Jenny has 6,100, Jim 5,700, and I have a big lead with $38,200. And once again, not a single incorrect response that round. Let's see what happens in Final Jeopardy. The category is artists. I think I'll do just 1,800 on this clue. Brightly colored paintings by this British-born LA painter toured the US in the 80s. Well, the perfect streak is going to end here because I don't know. So I'm just going to say, who is Daniel Monahan?
Oh, you shut up. Now, Daniel, it's always good fun.
But I still win the game, so it doesn't matter. Still, Daniel, you're going to get a grand total of $36,400. That's not bad.
the Final Jeopardy answer is
The real artist is David Hockney. David Hockney. Let's see if Jim came up with David Hockney. He did. He goes to 10,400. Did Jenny come up with David Hockney? She did. She goes to 12,200. I, on the other hand, did not. That was the only incorrect response I gave this game. But it doesn't matter because I still win. See you all for that next video, everybody.